16th century poet Edmund Spenser is best known as the author of the romantic epic The Faerie Queene, but his Shepherd's Calendar and the sequence of sonnets Amoreti are also memorable. One of England's major poets, he is often referred to as the poet's poet because of his influence on many who came after him. He was essentially an artist in words and coined fine, exquisite, pretty phrases. He is a great painter-poet, and his poetry is marked by a rich profusion of imagery and ornate pictures. He is highly sensuous, and his poetry has exceeding sweetness. His sequence of sonnets Amoreti, love songs, tells his love for Elizabeth Boyle, whom he married in 1594, a year before their publication. The poet shows his love not so much for the physical charm of the lady as for her divine qualities. Let us read the sonnet Ice and Fire and see what the poet says about love. My love is like to ice and I to fire. How comes it then that this her cold so great is not dissolved through my so hot desire, but harder grows the more I her entread? Or how comes it that my exceeding heat is not delayed by her heart frozen cold, but that I burn much more in boiling sweat and feel my flames augmented manyfold? What more miraculous thing may be told? That fire, which all things melts, should harden ice, and ice, which is congealed with senseless cold, should kindle fire by wonderful device. Such is the power of love in gentle mind, that it can alter all the course of kind. Now this 16th century sonnet, as is obvious, is a love sonnet of the type that was fashionable in Elizabethan England. It is full of far-fetched turns of thought aimed at showing the sad plight of a devoted lover who finds his lady-love hard-hearted and cold. Such sonnets were written in a sequence, and this is the 30th sonnet in a sequence of 89 sonnets called Amoreti. Now, if I put it very simply, the sonnet describes a man in love with a woman. The woman does not love him back, although he declares strong passion for her, pursues her. The woman shows utter disinterest. But there are a number of things that puzzle the man. As the woman's apathy, her lack of interest and enthusiasm towards him fails to extinguish the fire that burns in his heart. Rather, her impassiveness fuels the fire all the more and stimulates his feelings for her. He calls this phenomena miraculous, remarkable, as the fire in his heart is not able to melt the ice in hers, rather hardens it more. The woman, it seems, has blocked her heart, cemented it, hardened it so much that the warmth of the man's love is not able to affect and soften her. The poem concludes with a couplet that answers all the speaker's questions. It works as all of Spenser's conclusions do. It could serve as an answer to a question or as a carrier of a different opinion. Here, though, the speaker concludes that the answer to all the previously posed questions is that love has the power to change everything. When it exists within a gentle mind, it has the ability to alter everything. To describe the feelings of the man and the woman, Spenser uses metaphorical comparisons of dramatically opposites, fire and ice. The fire represents the man and his burning desire to be with the woman, while ice represents the woman and her lack of interest in him. And this contrast is best illustrated in the following lines from the sonnet. How comes it then that this her cold so great is not dissolved through my so hot desire, but harder grows the more I her entread? Spenser's metaphors of fire and ice create vivid imagery throughout the poem. His use of descriptive language paints a picture of a fiery man and a detached, frozen woman, and helps the reader mentally experience the conflict the two are facing. The repetition of this imagery adds a special meaning to the sonnet. It gives a stronger emphasis of the emotions of the man and the woman and of the general message of the poem. Spenser further writes, "What more miraculous thing may be told? That fire, which all things melts, should harden ice." Here Spenser is using paradox, the principal figure of speech used in the entire sonnet. The poet's exceeding heat is not able to melt the ice in her heart, and the beloved's coldness is not extinguishing the flames of desire in the poet's heart. But an important point to note here is that the tone of the sonnet is very hopeful and devoted. The writer does not present any negative feelings for his lover, not returning his love. He only mentions that her coldness, her detachment only goes to make his love grow stronger. And there is a certainty that one day she will accept his feelings for her. What Spenser is saying is that those in love only grow more ardent in their feelings, and also suggesting that love too eagerly given becomes less and less appealing. Spenser draws heavily on influence of the Petrarchan lover as established by Petrarch, all of whose sonnets celebrate his love for Laura in a sequence of sonnets. And Spenser also follows the set conventions of the Elizabethan period and projects the lady as heartless, the lover ever languishing for her sake. My love is like to ice and I to fire also confirms to the pattern of a traditional Spenserian stanza. This form of sonnet writing was pioneered by the poet himself and is marked by 3 interlocking quatrains and a concluding couplet. The lines rhyme AB, AB, BC, BC, CD, CD, and EE. Additionally, the reader should note that the first 12 lines pose 3 different questions, which are then answered in the final couplet. The sonnet is composed in iambic pentameter, that is, every line has 10 syllables and a beat consisting of an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable.